Time to get started. Time to get started. Welcome everybody to our Azamara event today. I'm very excited to have you all here. Thank you very much for joining. We have 52 people in today's presentation, and I'm sure we're going to have some more people join within the next couple of minutes. Like I was saying before, I see a lot of names I recognize, guests that have been doing business with us for a long time that have giving us the opportunity to take care of your cruises and your travels, and we feel very proud and honored for that opportunity. And thank you very much for being here. Many of you guys I don't know. I see some names that are new. Most likely, you guys have been getting my emails or some of our emails for some time, and finally decided to join one of our events. And thank you very much for doing so. Very much welcome. In fact, we love that opportunity to get to know you and to share with you a little bit of what we do and our relationship with Azamara. But most importantly, today is all about Azamara, right? It's about learning and educating ourselves on this incredible product, this incredible cruise line. Cruise line that has had quite a bit of news or stuff going on with them in the last several months, and we're going to talk about it in a minute. But a little bit of housekeeping items for those that have never been to one of our events. Please know that this is meant to be a very informal event, right? The idea is that you find this a very friendly environment, an opportunity for you guys to not just sit and hear some people talk, but also interact. Obviously, throughout the presentation, I'm going to be asking Kelly and Michael a lot of questions, but if there's something in the middle of the presentation that you feel you want to ask about and you feel like interrupting, let us know. And if you have any questions or something that you want to learn more about, that you want us to go a little bit more deep into, feel free to go to the chat box at the bottom of your screen. I'm going to type hello. That's where you would basically type any question that you feel can wait till the end. And then at the end of our conversation, I'll go back and make sure to read each and every single one of them and not miss a single one to make sure that we can address all of your questions and concerns. And so also throughout today's event, we're going to be asking some questions via poll. So Denise, who's waving, she's a marketing manager. Thank you, Denise, for putting this together. And she's going to be sending some questions just like this one. And this helps us understand a little bit who is in our crowd today. And based on those answers, we'll also gear some questions and make sure that we're catering to all of you and the majority of you as well. So for example, so far, I see that only 38% of you, 39% of you have sailed with Azamara before, which means it's a great opportunity because it means that those that have sailed with Azamara before probably want to know what's new. And those that haven't sailed with Azamara before are probably looking to learn more and see maybe it's the right cruise line for you. And so without any further ado, allow me to go into some introduction. So I am Carlos Settery, and I'm the CEO of Luxury Cruise Connections. And together with me, you're going to find a lot of people that right after their name says -Luxury Cruise Connections, and that's because they're part of our team. And then with us today, we have Kelly Ross and Michael Jerkins from Azamara. So I'm going to go ahead and spotlight both of them for now. Kelly and Michael, can you please go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell our audience today who you guys are and what you guys do?
Sure. Thanks so much, Carlos, for allowing us to come on and share this opportunity to talk a little bit more about Azamara. My name is Kelly Ross. I am one of two key account managers for Azamara, and I've been with the brand a little over 7 years, almost. It'll be my 8th year this year. So I've been here through a lot of changes, from 2 ships to now 4. So we're excited about that. And I come from a very long land background. So my experience in travel was a lot of time with destinations, land, tour operator, and so forth. And now I've been at Azamara for the last 8 years. So excited to share this opportunity with you. And I'll let Michael share a little bit about his illustrious career. He's really the main man.
Well, I'm glad to be joining you all. Always a pleasure to see Carlos and his team, and it's a pleasure seeing all of you all who are here joining us today. I've now been with Azamara actually for 2 months. But I have a very extensive background in cruise. I spent 20 years at Carnival Cruise Lines, and I spent 5 years at Crystal. So I'm not new to the industry by any long shot, but I started when I was 10. So I'm just going to stick to that.
And we've known each other for a long time.
And you were 10 too, so leave it at
that. And amazing. And Kelly, you said key account manager. What does that mean? What is a key account, or what does key account manager stand for?
Yeah. So initially, when I first started at Azamara, I covered basically 8 Western U.S. states. I'm based in California, and I covered 8 states, working with a variety of different partners and consortia and things like that. And as we've grown and evolved over especially the last couple of years, they restructured our sales team. And so I now no longer work with 9 states, and I really kind of focus on some of our bigger key accounts in the western part of the US, and some of those consortia to be more into planning and working with ideas on marketing and things like that. And Michael helps support myself and our other key account manager as well, and kind of putting those things in place and working on different programs and things to kind of help spread the word with about Azamara a little bit differently to some of those larger accounts that we work with.
Good. And we're very proud to say that we are one of the key accounts in the East Coast. So Kelly and I really, I've heard of you quite a bit. We've never had an opportunity to interact a lot because you obviously handle the West Coast. Our East Coast key account manager, Lionel, moved on to other stuff in his career, which is great for him. And we're hopefully very soon gonna reconnect with the new key account manager for the Eastern region. But in the meantime, it's been a very interesting journey, a relationship with Azamara. It started obviously a few years ago, and we've grown so fast, so quick, and so nicely together with Azamara to become one of the key account partners in the East Coast. And we're very proud to be part of that very small group because not only does it allow us to have that relationship at that higher level, but it really opens up a lot of opportunities for us and for our clients, right? That really allow us to, as an agency, to provide that extra touch, that extra little perk here and there, and that opportunity to really go above and beyond for our clients like nobody else can. Well, I didn't say like nobody else can, but very unique to us particularly. And so a little bit about our relationship with Azamara. I mean, obviously, like I just said, I mean, we've grown a lot with Azamara for a long time, for in a short period of time, but it's been definitely several years that I've seen the evolution of Azamara. And since the days where Azamara was part of Celebrity, I remember, wow, the first time I learned about Azamara was about, I'm going to say 16 years ago or so, if not 17. And it was a Celebrity team coming into my office and talking about this new brand that is going to do things a little bit differently. And it's amazing what you guys have been able to accomplish. I mean, clients that go on Azamara, especially when it's the right client, right? Looking for the right what Azamara has to offer, come back extremely happy from that experience. And that's why we continue to put people in Azamara. That's why we continue to recommend Azamara, because it really helps when the cruise line where you are putting your clients and that you're recommending really delivers on their promise. So it's kind of a little bit of an endorsement before we get started. So
very much appreciated.
And it's been, like I was saying before, I guess we got started, it's been a while since the last time we had an event with Azamara. And I think the last time that we had one, it was just before or right after Azamara was being purchased by the private equity group. So a little bit of history here for those that don't know this. Azamara started as a brand within Royal Caribbean Group under Celebrity, span out as an independent brand within the Royal Caribbean Group, and then last year got acquired by a private equity firm that is now literally putting tons of money into this company and into the brand to transform Azamara into a leading cruise line. I mean, already are, obviously one of the major cruise line, but, to take you guys to another level. Can you share with us a little bit about that story? Who is your new owners, and share with our audience a little bit about that?
Sure. It's really an exciting story. And as I mentioned, I've been with Azamara for about 8 years. So I kind of was there right after, a little bit after they left Celebrity and became standalone Azamara within the Royal Caribbean Group. And so I've kind of seen it evolve from just 2 ships at that time to where we are now. And during the pandemic, there was an opportunity for a company called Sycamore Partners, who's a private equity firm. They're based in New York. They are very reputable. They have a very strong financial backing, and they really look for business opportunities to work with companies that have strong, loyal followings from their customers, which Azamara certainly does. They looked for organizations that have a great leadership group, which Azamara certainly had, and really the right opportunity. So they weren't really in the travel space or the cruise space, and so we're really sort of one of the first opportunities for them. And it was really sort of the perfect opportunity for them to take advantage of purchasing us at that time. And it was a great opportunity for Royal Caribbean Group to let us go and let us really have the opportunity to evolve well beyond what we could have done within that organization, because they have so much going on with not only Royal Caribbean, but of course Celebrity, and now the acquisition and ownership of Silversea. So we were sort of this kind of interesting fit in there, that it was sort of the right time. And so we were a little nervous at first, and then within a week's time, they had purchased a 4th ship for us. It's not brand new, but it is like our others. And I'm sure we'll talk about the fleet in a little bit, but that really spoke to us as a team that they were taking Azamara in terms of ownership of all that we brought to the table, our call center, our team, our staff, our onboard crew and team members, and added a 4th additional ship at that time. So it really was an exciting time for us. And then since then, it's just been a lot of building up our infrastructure to stand alone, our reservation system, our legal team, our maritime team, all those components that go into running a cruise line had to be sort of stood up on its own. So we have sort of been transitioning out of Royal Caribbean for the last couple of years, and we are now in the midst and fully out of their systems. And so we're working through those that migration. It's a lot of data, a lot of information. So there's some wrinkles that we're trying to iron out, but we cannot be more excited about the future at Azamara, because it just allows us to continue to evolve and grow our unique story and our unique delivering of destination, unlike other cruise lines. And so it really is a pretty exciting time to be a part of the organization, and excited to see where we're going to go. So.
Absolutely. And so I don't know if many people know this, but I am actually very honored to also be part of the advisory board, the trade advisory board for Azamara. So I get an opportunity to speak with, all your leadership team, from Carol Cabezas, and everybody else about feedback and opportunities. And I've seen this transition, and I've seen the excitement and the changes, the positive changes that are going on in order to really take this to another level. And it's exciting because when you guys were under the Royal Caribbean Group, yeah, okay, you have great backing, a great, an incredible infrastructure behind you that can help you with a lot of stuff like air and technology and whatever. But at the end of the day, you just were that small cruise line within this huge group, and now you're the baby of Sycamore Partners, and you can see the effort and the commitment that they have into growing the brand. So very exciting times for Azamara. Looking forward to what's happening, and so. Let's get started with a little bit of the Azamara of today. We'll talk about the Azamara of the future later. But so for our guests that haven't been with Azamara before, why don't you share with us why Azamara? Like, why would anybody say this is the cruise line for me? What are your differentiators?
Yeah, so I think it's a great opportunity for us to continue to kind of tell our story, because it's interesting how many people really still don't know who we are and what we're about. So we always like to have the opportunity to tell our story. And I would say it really kind of starts with why guests are traveling. So if you're a traveler that is looking for the opportunity to really spend more time in a destination, the opportunity to really go beyond the sort of marquee ports that we'll actually visit, we'll visit as well, but also be able to see and experience smaller, less traveled ports and get into places that large ships can't go and have plenty of time there. We have over 850 late night stays of 8 p.m. or later, and over 350 nights of overnight stays in amazing destinations. So it really is I tell people, don't think of us as a cruise line. Think of us as really destination first and foremost. Because if you're a past land person like myself, if you're a past river cruise guest, if you're someone that's looking to downsize in terms of larger ships to smaller ships and have great accessibility at a much slower pace to the itinerary, then we're a great fit. So we can really cater to a wide variety of travelers that traditional cruise lines don't really draw as many to, because of really the ship being the destination, where we're looking at the destination first and foremost, and then delivering that from a fantastic onboard experience that delivers like a wonderful boutique hotel that just travels with you from place to place. And also really looking at our operational days, over 80% of our time is actually in ports of call. So we're very port intensive as well. So we can really see and experience and really dive deep into destination, unlike a lot of other cruise lines. That doesn't mean that we're better than, it's just what makes us very different. And we'll talk about the onboard experience, I'm sure, but it's very inclusive, great value. The service is impeccable. So it does really delivers like a fantastic floating hotel. And you wake up in a new port of call every day, and you might be there till 10, 11 at night, or overnighting and having well throughout the entire day and into the evening to explore and enjoy that destination.
And I think the fact that your ships are small also allow for that to happen. Cruise lines get charged per hour of being parked at the port, and cruise lines choose to optimize cost, if you may, right? Sometimes, and depart a little earlier, while Azamara realizes that their commitment is to the destination, to being there and truly staying there as much as they can. And so they will extend that, they will stay there longer, like you're saying, than most. And I do have a slide later on that I want to show. How does that compare with the other cruise lines? But aside from the kind of that main differentiator, what else makes Azamara so special?
It's hard to describe, but I think the thing that if you look at Cruise Critic and you read some reviews, our onboard team is absolutely incredible, because it just delivers a very unique onboard experience where I like to say it's understated luxury, where you're incredibly well taken care of, but it's in a relaxed country club ambiance. So it's not over the top, it's not opulent. It's just really, really incredibly delivered by our onboard team. In addition to that, some of the things that we incorporate too with our Ozamazing experiences, they've expanded from our included complimentary Ozamazing evenings on voyages 7 nights or longer. These are bespoke evening events that really highlight the destination, and that's only for the Azamara guests. So a couple of quick examples, some of my favorites: the 3 tenors performing just for the Azamara guests in the beautiful Goldani Theater in Livorno, Italy, is fantastic. I've had the opportunity to experience that a couple of times. It's an intimate setting. It's just the Azamara guests, and it's included on those voyages. So it really kind of brings that Tuscan experience to life for our guests. And I've done them in a beautiful theater in Montevideo, Uruguay, where they did a carnival performance that was incredible. I've been in Bilbao, where we did some things in Bilbao. So again, these are complimentary and included, and again, really bringing that destination to life. And we've gone beyond just doing those evening events, where we're now bringing some of those on board where it makes sense. So we're calling them destination celebrations, or we're doing some things during the day as well. So this continues to evolve. And these are a huge part of what makes Azamara unique, because we don't include all excursions. And the reason I like that is actually creates the opportunity for you to create the vacation experience that's best suited for your interests and what you want to do. Because some of us will explore on our own, some will want to do excursions, some want to do a blend of both. So it really gives you that opportunity where I always joke that as a linear male thinker, if it's included, I know I've paid for that, so I got to do it. It's included. I mean, I want to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's included. So I like the ability to kind of pick and choose and have that flexibility. But with that said, the Oz Amazing experiences are absolutely incredible and really bring the destination to life. So it's really that focus of really onboard experience, great service, impeccable dining, and the ability to really dive deeper into the destination really is what is the cornerstones of an Azamara experience.
And the As Amazing experiences are different from the As Amazing evening, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of evolving. So the Oz Amazing evening, you'll see on a lot of those voyages. And then there's certain destinations where we're sort of trying to expand on those. It's hard to come up with something unique and exciting in each and every voyage in a particular destination. Some areas of the world just don't really cater to that, but some things can be brought on the ship that we experienced during COVID, where we brought them on the ship, where the destination celebration became the quote unquote Oz Amazing evening. So for example, in Rhodes, Greece, we would bring local entertainment on the ship, local cuisine on the ship. You're docked right in the heart of Old Rhodes. You can see the amazing cityscape. And then this incredible Greek performance is going on the ship, great weather. And then we'll do them off the ship for the Oz Amazing evening. And there is an evolution of doing some things during the day as well. So these will continue to evolve as we continue to grow our opportunities and destinations and itineraries. And so it just gives us more flexibility, but those are included on every voyage, 7 nights or longer, with the exception of transatlantic crossings or other long crossings, because not a lot to do off the ship in the middle of the ocean. So
Exactly. Okay, all right, fair enough. And so, and by the way, just for our audience to know, I am seeing your questions come in, but I'm going to leave all of them to the end, and I promise we're going to address each and every single one of them at the end live, so that we can hear the answers from Kelly or from Michael, and that way the other guests can also interact and maybe collaborate and ask on top of it too. All right, amazing. So now let's talk about your fleet. Obviously, I know that your Azamara's focus is on destination. I mean, I love the fact that you can just dock and just go into town and have dinner and come back and just enjoy, your amazing accommodations. But, at the end of the day, you are traveling, I mean, on a ship. So let's talk about it. What's your fleet like right now?
Yeah, so we have our ships are, if you're familiar with Renaissance Cruises, they are the former R-class ships from Renaissance. So we own 4 of them. So all 4 of our ships are identical. That allows us to create an onboard experience that is a maximum of 702 guests and 406 or so staff members and crew. So that's going to give us a 4 to 7 crew to guest ratio. So great service. These ships, being that they are slightly older, have been completely redone top to bottom, bow to stern, creating a much more contemporary look and feel to all public areas, all staterooms. We have several dining options on board as well. So you'll have an opportunity to enjoy different types of dining, from more casual in our buffet and our outdoor dining area known as the patio, especially during lunch. At night, the patio is my favorite place to actually dine because it's outside, it's off the menu linen service, it's not an additional cost or reservations required. But if you're in a great port of call in the Med and the weather's great, it's really one of my favorite places to dine is out on the patio. And then we have our 2 specialty restaurants as well. So there's really something for everybody in that regard. We have great entertainment as well. So we have the Cabaret Lounge. So there's nightly entertainment from the onboard team performing to guest performers coming on as well. And then also in an area known as the living room on deck 10 forward, It's a wonderful spot where you can enjoy complimentary wine and tapas in the evenings. There's great entertainment in there as well. And then the DJ will play dance music and things like that. So there's something to do on board during days at sea. Certainly if you're someone that just wants to stay back on during the day, if we're in a port of call and you'd rather stay on board, still plenty to do. So it really is a fantastic ambiance on the ships, on all 4 ships when you're sailing with Azamara. The great thing about it too is it gives you as someone looking to book Azamara the ability to pick and choose based on itinerary and destination that you're interested in, and knowing that that ship and experience will be very much the same from no matter where you go in the world with Azamara.
Are they all identical?
They are all identical. Yep, they're all former R-class ships. So the one exception would be, and if you bring up the couple of those pictures that you just had, I wanted to point out something. The addition of the Onward, which is our latest ship. So she's a little bit smaller in terms of capacity. And the reason for that is she has a few more suites available than our other ships. But this photo right here is a great example too. So on all of the ships on the left, if you're looking at that, where the piano is, that is the drawing room. And that is sort of our library. And it's a very nice, quiet, intimate spot. So if you want to do some reading or what have you, it's a nice spot, but it does go rather underutilized. So we actually, on the new ship, the Onward, we turned it into the photo on the right, and that is the Atlas Bar. And this is a craft cocktail lounge that is fantastic. So the lounge there affords guests to enjoy some incredible craft cocktails, craft food in a fantastic setting. And because it takes quite a bit of time to create the space in an existing space that is on the left, this same experience is available on all ships. It's on deck 5 midship in the lounge there, except for here on the Onward where we have the space actually created. And once we have opportunities to take the ships out for necessary dry docks in the future, we will look to create the same space on the other ships going forward, because it has been incredibly well received. So that is one big difference from the Onward, which is our latest addition, to the other 3 ships, the Azamara Pursuit, the Azamara Quest, and the Azamara Journey.
I was fortunate enough to be able to be on the Onward inaugural, and I saw that space, the Atlas Bar, and it is truly incredible. Not just the space, that picture doesn't do justice. Just the space, it looks very funky, very, very cool, but also the cocktails that they're making in there are very, very, very unique. So
yeah. And what's great about it is they realize how successful that was. So they've created the opportunity for guests on the other 3 ships to have those same cocktails and those same craft small plates available at the Den, which is deck 5 midship. It's a great lounge. For me, it's one of my favorite spots on the ship because it's perfect, close proximity to shops and also the main dining and discoveries. It's also a short walk to the Cabaret Lounge. So before or after dinner, it's a great spot to enjoy. And now that they have those craft cocktails available, it's a great, even better.
let's show our guests a little bit of how your accommodations look like. So what are we looking at here?
Yeah, so these are the spa suites. Now, when we did the renovations on the ships, we actually turned these into brand new spaces. So there's just 2 of these particular suites. This is the spa suite and the living space on the left, and the bathroom area on the right. You can see the tub there is actually enclosed in glass. There is privacy glass as well. If you wanted to, kind of fog that up, just flip the switch, it will fog over. This is adjacent to our spa. This is on deck 9. So there's just 2 of these per ship. But if you continue on, there's some more pictures of the accommodations, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, because when you think about Azamara, if you're accustomed to some larger space on other cruise lines and you're maybe sailing with us for the first time, I would start here. This is the Club Continent suite. This is the entry level to the suite class. We have about 36 of them on the ship. And this is really fantastic living space. It's very, very comfortable at about 270 some odd square feet, a very nice veranda. But here in the suite class, starting at Club Continent and above, in addition to the standard inclusions, you're going to get butler service. You're going to get complimentary seating in our specialty restaurants, which is a small cover charge, typically $35 per person if you're in verandas and lower. In the suites, starting at Club Continent, it's included throughout the voyage. And so you get some extras there as well. On the photos here, you're looking at the Club World Owner Suite and Ocean Suite. These are the last of our two major suites. And so thinking about Azamara with just 700 guests, we tend to sell the ships top down. So the suites and the verandas pictured on the far right there as you're looking and the verandas being our most prevalent category. This is where you're going to find the most available staterooms is generally from verandas and up is what sells the quickest and the most on board Azamara. If you're looking at my background right now, unfortunately, this is a virtual background. I'm not actually in the club owner suite, which I would love to be in the owner suite right now for real, but you can get a taste of what the look and feel is of the owner suite. So the accommodations, whether you start in interiors, which I've actually sailed in the interior. In fact, Carlos, it's funny because you talked about Lionel, who's a fantastic guy, and we wish him well. He and I were on a right after the Pursuit inaugural in 2018. We stayed on board for a seminar team. He and I had to share an interior room for quite a few days. And even then it was quite comfortable. So from interiors all the way to the suites, the bedding, the furnishings, the accommodations are great. It just depends on what you're most comfortable sailing in and where you want to be. But again, if you're starting from another cruise line and sailing with us for the first time, maybe you're accustomed to a little bit larger rooms. I would start in the suites, the Club Continent suites, and look from there up. So great value, great accommodations, and a little bit of extras.
Good, fantastic. And all right, good. And so we covered your accommodations. We covered the interior, well, most of it. I guess obviously there's a lot more to the ships that what we can show in this short time, and we don't want to bore you with. I mean, anybody can go to get a brochure, and we can send you a brochure, or we can guide you through more pictures and so forth. But let's talk about the experience. What is included on a typical Azamara voyage?
Yeah, so we like to say that we're not all inclusive, but we're more inclusive. So when you look at the value of booking with Azamara, there's so much included during your onboard experience. You have your gratuities included, all onboard gratuities are included. Your standard spirits, wine, and beer are included as well. If you have a palate that you would like to upgrade your beverage package, you certainly can, or you can pay as you go. So unlike traditional cruising, where if you're sailing with someone and you want to upgrade your beverage package, you're both required to do so in the stateroom. On Azamara, if you want to do it, but who you're traveling with doesn't, you can upgrade and the other person's not required to do so. Or you can pay as you go, which makes it a great value as well. The standard inclusions, I think, are fantastic. Great wines from around the world, standard beers as well. But and then sort of your standard well cocktails. But if you want to upgrade, you certainly can, or pay as you go. So typically for me personally, I'll pay as I go here and there for maybe a cocktail on this night or that night. But some people want that each and every night, so they upgrade their beverage package. The nice thing too about the included beverages, it's throughout the entire voyage, not just during meal times, not just at lunch or dinner. It's throughout whenever you're on board the ship. So I would say to that too, with the craft cocktails in the Atlas bar, if you pay it's like $19.95 per person per day, you can upgrade to a premium beverage. If you pay a little bit more, it's like $24 a day. That gets you to the ultimate beverage package. If you upgrade it to the ultimate, all of those craft cocktails are included in that ultimate beverage package. Otherwise, it is a per cocktail of about $13.95 per person. So kind of depends on what your palate is and what you want to do. So it gives, again, you, the traveler, the flexibility to kind of pick and choose what's best included there. You look at continuing on with inclusions with regard to suites, the specialty dining, which is Prime C, which is an amazing steakhouse, or Aquilina, which is a wonderful Italian med themed menu. That's a $35 per person cover, and it's well worth the $35. But if you're in the suites, Club Continents and above, that's included throughout the voyage. You get in-room spirits in the suites as well. There's also a veranda category called the Veranda Plus, which has a little bit of extras included in that. And I mentioned the cocktails because it doesn't seem like a big deal, but if you're wanting a drink in your room before you head out to dinner or what have you, you have to generally go out to one of the lounges to purchase that, or to order it because it's included, and then bring it back. But if you have in-room spirits, you have a setup right there. You can have cocktails before you go, because you can't actually have alcoholic beverages delivered to your room.
Got it. And what is not included? So we know airfare is not included typically, right?
Right.
We know shore excursions are not included typically.
With the
Well,
exception of the Oz Amazing
exception of the-
experiences. Yep.
Experiences, exactly. What about Wi-Fi?
So Wi-Fi is not included at this point. We have done some upgrading to the Wi-Fi. So I just saw a post that actually they were very pleased with the new Wi-Fi. So they're like, if you're thinking about working while you're on or what have you, don't worry, it's good. We haven't included it yet. It's something that we understand is becoming more and more commonplace. So what I would recommend actually is look at purchasing one of our onboard packages. They're called the Experience More packages. And so if you were to purchase those, it's not a tremendously expensive package, and there's 3 or so different types of these packages. But the entry-level Experience More package is going to give you a $300 onboard credit. It's going to be Wi-Fi included for one device, which you can switch between devices, and it upgrades you to the premium beverage package as well. Also, if there's offers, which we'll talk about at the end here, where there's onboard credit included, you can certainly use onboard credit to pay for Wi-Fi packages that bring the cost down for entire voyages as well. But as someone that works and travels a lot, it would be nice to have that included. And eventually, I'm sure we'll get to some point where we have that. But for the time being, it's not included, but it's relatively easy to get at a pretty reasonable rate.
Anything else not included? Anything else that I might have missed?
Yeah, so spa and those types of things is not going to be included. And then again, the excursions that allow you to kind of pick and choose what's best for you is not included as well. But the other thing I would say is, when you look at the onboard experience, everybody has different interests and different tastes in what they want to do. So if you had a lot of these things included, I think some of it would go unused and it would just be included, and it doesn't really make sense. Yeah. So again, it just gives everyone the ability to kind of create the value that's best suited for them, I think.
Okay. All right. Now let's go back and talk about destination a little. Let's talk about the world with Azamara. What destinations do you visit? And I'm sure the first question that we're going to get when people look at this screen that I just shared is Russia is in dark.
Yep.
So
yep.
talk about this second.
Yeah. So this map is certainly one that was pre-Ukraine, but before I get to that, I just want to mention that we do visit over 370 countries worldwide, and it could be from the depths of South America with some amazing itineraries that will take in Rio during Carnival, through the Chilean fjords and down into Antarctica, to all of the hidden gems in Europe and all throughout Asia, as you can see. So we do go to all 7 continents with our 4 beautiful ships. And so it does give you the opportunity to pick and enjoy and experience destinations that may have been on your bucket list, or maybe you want to go back and see a little bit differently and see it a little bit in a fashion that maybe you hadn't experienced before. So that really gives you the opportunity for sure to do that with our array of itineraries. I will say Europe really is where we shine for much of the year. Because of the addition of the 4th ship, we actually expanded our Europe season, which I think is fantastic, because it now gives our guests the opportunity to sail from late March to early November into the Med. And throughout the summer, we're all throughout Europe. So we're able to experience just Scotland or just Ireland. We do Iceland, we do just Norway, we do a variety of things. And so with that, of course, the Ukraine situation caused us to, and rightfully so, reevaluate some of those itineraries and revamp them. So if you were looking at Azamara before that situation, you saw we had an array of Black Sea itineraries, which was proving to be very, very popular until the situation in Ukraine occurred. And so we've redone all of those itineraries that are now more Greece and Turkey. Russia is completely off the table. We're not doing Russia at all. I don't see that being something we do for the very foreseeable future, because it's, just such a tragic situation. So we definitely are not going to that part of the world. As the map shows, it's greened out, but it's not where we're going anytime soon.
Yeah, and I did see one of the first questions we got as we started talking was how did that how did the war affect, or how will it affect future voyages with Azamara? And I'd like to say that and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think whatever effect it was going to have, it already had, meaning any itinerary that was touching that was touching the Black Sea and that was touching Russia was already redeployed or changed, modified, to exclude some, or just go somewhere else. And any new itineraries you guys have been releasing since then obviously don't include it. So
correct, exactly right. Yeah, we once that occurred, we redid all of those itineraries to take that off the table. Any future deployment certainly doesn't factor in going back to that part of the world anytime soon. It also, when you look at the rest of Europe and just travel in general, we are always with our thumb on the pulse of what's going on worldwide, and wherever necessary, we've redeployed and changed itineraries to accommodate for events, socioeconomic, political, whatever it might be. We've had to redo some itineraries, and we've been actually very capable at doing that because of our smaller size. Actually, it gives us a lot of flexibility because we can pick and choose ports of calls that maybe if a large ship has to redeploy, they don't have as many options as we do. So it's been pretty amazing how nimble we've been able to be during those certain situations. A great example for me when I first started was when there was a lot of going on in Turkey, in Istanbul. We took Istanbul off the table. We did more Greece. Now that it's calmed down, and we're enjoying going back to Turkey in Istanbul and Kusadasi as well. So very much on the western side of the country. So people are excited that we're going back. We're doing overnights in Istanbul, one of my favorite cities in the world. But if something were to occur, we would just again redeploy and kind of figure out where to go from there. So.
All right, good. And let's go back and talk a little bit more about ports, because we talked about the long the late nights and the overnights, but I like facts. And so I saw this very cool slide that really explains what we're talking about. And so this is how Azamara compares with some of the peers in the industry. And we're seeing that in 2023, Azamara is expected to have 73% of late nights, meaning 37% of their itineraries are expected to be late nights. 15% of them are expected to be overnights, for a total of 52% on both, which is, according to this comp set, the maximum there is in this industry.
Yeah, so all this data is really pulled from public websites, so it's not any top secret information. And I would have prefaced this also, and I say this every time, this does not mean that I think Azamara is better than. There's all of our fantastic friendly competitors, if you will, other suppliers. They also offer amazing experiences and great onboard experiences. But where Azamara really shines is slowing the pace of the itinerary down. So featuring 37% of our nights are late nights, 15% of them are overnight, so a total of 52% of our port stops are going to feature these late and overnight stays. And you might ask, well, why don't you do more? And the reason for it is this: some ports really don't justify staying much longer than we do. You'll see and experience what you want to see and do within a shorter time. So we'll head off and see somewhere else. But where it makes sense, where we have the ability to do those late nights and overnights, it really gives us some unique opportunities that others don't do, because they have other things that they want to. You mentioned, it was a great point, Carlos, is that a lot of larger ships, especially, their onboard experience really, it's driven by them not being in a port of call. It's coming back a little earlier, getting out to sea so they can open a casino or shops and things like that, which is legally not able to do while the ship is in port. But because we are so late and overnighting in so many places, we actually don't even have onboard casinos any longer. They just don't make sense for Azamara. And it's actually been incredibly well received. People were happy about it because it was just such an underutilized space. When I started, they were manned tables, so that we would have dealers and things like that standing around really doing nothing. So then they went to more automated electronic experiences. People still weren't using it. So it just made no sense for us to keep it. So That's something to maybe keep in mind.
Makes a lot of sense. And now you've turned those spaces into much more welcoming spaces for the guests. And makes sense. I mean, if you're if you're experiencing the destination so much and you have just not enough time to spend on board the ship, then people are not going to be using those casinos.
Right.
All the sense in the world. And now, Azamara has also made some great partnerships in the past. Do we have any golfers in our crowd today? Do we have any golfers? Let me see your hands. Do we have any golfers?
I'm definitely a golfer.
I'm sure we have plenty. You guys have this incredible, and not many people know about this. I don't think we talk about it enough. But you guys did this incredible partnership with Perry Golf.
Mhm.
Can you talk a little bit about that partnership and how does it work and how is it how does it impact a golfer?
Yeah. So being a golfer myself, this is one of the things I was really excited about in terms of Azamara and this particular partnership. So we partner and have partnered with for several years a company called Perry Golf, and Perry Golf is a renowned golf operator. They do mostly land, obviously land because you're playing golf, but they weren't really doing much in conjunction with cruise until we started partnering with them. And what this allows us to do is to afford golfers the opportunity to see the world and play on some pretty renowned courses around the globe in a way that's really unique and different. What's fantastic about any golf package or golf voyage, for a couple things, for the regular traveler, there's very few golfers on board actually doing a golf experience. So the voyage is just like any other voyage with great stops, great excursion opportunities and so forth. And then those that are partnering with Perry Golf and taking advantage of the golf package, they are incredibly well taken care of. So guests won't even have to bring their golf equipment on the ship. So once they arrive to the port of call, if they're taking advantage of this package, the Perry Golf representatives will handle their equipment from start to finish. So they'll take it at embarkation and you'll have it waiting for you at the first course. After that round's over, that will be waiting for you at the next course and so on throughout the voyage until the end. And then it'll be waiting for you to either ship or take home with you. Golfers of all levels and abilities can play. It's not required that you have a certain handicap or be able to play at a certain level. It's very friendly. It's a great group environment, and you're playing some incredible courses around the globe. We do these throughout Europe, obviously, but also Australia, New Zealand, Southeast Asia through a great example that's unique is Norway. There's a course called the Lofoten Links, which is the world's most northerly 18-hole championship golf course in the world. You're there in the summer, so it's obviously during the land of the midnight sun, so you could play well into the evening and not worry about the sun going down. But a pretty unique experience for a golfer that maybe has played a bit around the world. You can play, at a very unique course in the area of Norway.
You wanted to highlight this one though, right? And I think one of the cool things about an itinerary like this one, which of course, I mean, there's incredible golf courses throughout this itinerary, but look at this. And I think this is very cool. When you're docking in Bordeaux, I mean, this is pretty unique. You want to talk about this?
Yeah, so I've actually personally experienced this myself, and it was pretty incredible. So a lot of, as you can see there where the circles are, La Rochelle is where a large cruise ship will dock to go and visit the city of Bordeaux. So it's probably an 1.5 to 2 hour drive from La Rochelle to Bordeaux. So you're spending a good part of your day getting in and out of the highlight city that you want to visit. But because of our ship's size, we're actually able to sail on the Garonne River and dock on the estuary right in the city center of Bordeaux. And we generally do this as a 2-night stay. On this particular itinerary that you highlighted here, Carlos, it also is one where Bordeaux is maybe the second or third stop on that itinerary. Some of our itineraries, the city stop in Bordeaux is actually the turn city. So it could be the start or end of the voyage. So if you wanted to go in a little bit earlier or stay a little bit longer, you certainly can with those turns in Bordeaux as well. Bordeaux itself is steeped in viticulture history. It dates back to the wine trade with England back to like the 14th, 15th century. And I don't know if you have the other picture of the this is a great photo because you can see in the lower center there, that's our ship. I took that photo when I was there. right in the heart of the city. So it gives you great accessibility to all that Bordeaux, the city itself, has to offer, from amazing restaurants. It has a beautiful public gardens, great architecture, as you can see, but also accessibility into the amazing chateaus and vineyards outside of the city as well. And I will say, for those that may have river cruised and been to Bordeaux on a river cruise, I will say, if our ship wasn't blocking them, you would see the other river cruise ships that were there as well, but we were actually docked closer to city center than they were. So I like to joke with my river cruise supplier friends that, hey, by the way, when we're in Bordeaux, we tend to be a little bit closer than you guys.
Nice. All right. I mean, we could go on and on about ports where you guys go in, like very like into the city, like Seville, and so many others. So, but you know, we definitely want to be also respectful of everybody's time. And I see a lot of questions come in. So I want to share also. I mean, I'm sure we've gotten a lot of people excited about you know, their next Azamara cruise. So can we go straight and talk about what are the latest promotions and what's the latest in terms of offers for Azamara right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, for today and tomorrow, we're wrapping up our 40% off $300 onboard credit wave offer, if you will. So that's concluding tomorrow. And then starting Saturday, we have our next promotion, which is 50% off the second guest and a $500 onboard credit. And this is going to run through May the 2nd. It will be on an array of sailings throughout the rest of 2023 and the first part of 2024. So if you're looking to maybe plan something a little bit further out, it would be a great opportunity to maybe take advantage of that. In addition, because you joined us today, we're running a 2-week special that we're going to add up to an additional $500 onboard credit, depending on your stateroom that you select, in addition to the promotion in the marketplace. So for example, starting on Saturday, if you book a suite, you're going to get 50% off the second guest and $1,000 onboard credit. So that will definitely play for a lot of that Wi-Fi, upgraded beverage packages, spas, excursions, whatever else is not included. That $1,000 is going to go a long, long way. So it'll be a great time to book starting on Saturday. Again, verandas being the most prevalent, it's still $900 onboard credit. It's pretty incredible. And again, that's on a lot of sailings for 23 and early 24.
And on top of that, guys, I wanna highlight something else. Many of you know this, and some of you don't, but Luxury Cruise Connections is a member of the Virtuoso Consortia. And the Virtuoso Consortia, for those that don't know, is the most is the largest luxury travel consortium in the world. You only get in by invitation, and we've been a member of it for many years. We are actually one of their top cruise producers within the entire Virtuoso network. But one of the cool things that the partnership does for us is it allows us to add additional perks that are only exclusive to our guests. And so let me go back to this. Sorry, let me go back to this one. Oops, there we go. So everybody gets this, right? Every guest out there is going to get this starting April 1st, 50% off second guest, $500 shipper credit. Only our guests for the next 2 weeks are going to get this in addition to, plus there are certain itineraries. Doesn't happen in every itinerary, but there are certain itineraries. This is in every itinerary, what you see right now on the screen. And there are certain itineraries where we'll be able to add an additional $300 shipper credit due to our partnership with Virtuoso. So
if I can expand on that just a second, Carlos, as well. So when you look at the Virtuoso amenity and hosted sailings, if you're looking at this onboard credit offer that is available for the next 2 weeks, as Carlos mentioned, it's on any and all sailings, which is actually applicable through early 2025. Believe it or not, we're open through that part of the early part of 25. But if it's an Azamara, or excuse me, a Virtuoso hosted date, which is a little bit of extra onboard credit, these won't actually combine. So what I would recommend is, to get the most bang for your buck, if you will, look for the hosted sailings, because the hosted sailings is going to give you a knowledgeable Virtuoso host on that sailing. You're going to get a cocktail reception and a hosted Virtuoso excursion, plus this onboard credit, plus our promotion onboard credit. So those Virtuoso hosted dates are fantastic. I would also mention too, that if you're someone that's maybe considering sailing even further out beyond where the promotion goes, maybe later in 24, maybe it's the summer of 24 or what have you, we also have our early booking benefit, which is a 20% off. And in Verandas and Hire, you'll get the Experience More package that I described earlier with the $300 onboard credit, the Wi-Fi for one device, and the upgraded beverage package. So if you book something December of 24, that offer is going to be applicable now as well. So anything that's available on the current promotion will be available. The folks at Luxury Cruise Connections will be able to tell you, yep, that sailing's part of the current promotion. This is what you'll get. But if it's further out, there's still something for those late sailings as well. So it's not a bad time ever to book Azamara.
But so this promotion, so you mean this one doesn't go into the early
This one goes to early 24 sailings.
early 24. So okay,
Yeah.
so it's all the way to early 24, and then if you're booking anything later than 24, then you have
The early booking benefit.
early booking benefit. All right.
Yep.
Very nice. And yes, like Kelly was saying, I mean, that's what we do over here at Luxury Cruise Connections. We help you navigate the complexity of these promotions, because we know they're not necessarily easy to understand sometimes. There is a combination of promotions that sometimes can make your offer even better, and that's what we specialize in, and finding the sweet spot of all these deals and promotions to make the offer even better. All right, yeah. Lots of questions. So I haven't even opened the chat box since we started, so I don't even know what I'm going to find, but I know.
Carlos, can I ask a question? Both of my World Cruise people, guests are on the webinar right now, Kelly. One of them wants to do the 2025 World Cruise, but the segments, as of a few months ago, the segments weren't open for booking yet. Any idea when those are going to become open?
Yeah, I would say it's a great question, because I've had others asking the same. So as I mentioned, we transitioned into our new reservations systems, and all of that transition has created some challenges that we've had to kind of address. So I think in the near future, after that all settles down, we will then look to open the segments for 2025 to give guests the opportunity to kind of see which ones they want to do if they're not looking to do the entirety of the voyage. So stay tuned. I would say I can't give you an exact time frame, but I'm hoping, in the next 2-3 weeks is kind of my hope. That's sort of what has been intimated in some of our conversations. So, but it's coming soon.
Thank you. Yeah. One thing you didn't mention, Azamara is great with intensive voyages. You might want to mention that, because you have intensive for France, which I'm doing next month, Italy, Spain. You have a lot of intensive where instead of going to multiple other countries, you stay in a particular country and let them go to different ports. You might want to mention that to.
Yeah, it's a great point. We do offer more traditional itineraries, which I refer to as a broad brushstroke. So you're going to kind of see a little bit of everything. And you can certainly do a lot of sailings back-to-back segments and the World Cruise, but even in general, just do multiple sailings back-to-back, very little port repetition. But as you mentioned, and I love our country intensive itineraries, it's where we take an entire destination, an entire country, or a majority of it, and put that into one itinerary. So it could be just Japan, could be just South Africa, all throughout Europe, as you mentioned, Croatia, France, Italy. One of my favorite destinations that we do is Greece, because we are going to see Santorini, and we will go to Mykonos and Hania and the marquee ports of call. But we can actually get into, not on one itinerary, because it would be a really long itinerary, but we have the accessibility into 27 different ports of call within Greece. So if you said, hey, I've been to Greece, I've been to Santorini, I don't really need to go back, I would say to you that you could go back to Greece again for the first time, because you're going to see things completely differently. Some of those smaller ports, Igoumenitsa, Spetses, Paros, all these great little ports of call are incredible. They're just not as well known. It's kind of like Azamara. I kind of say it's like us. We're incredible, but not that many people know about us. And that's the same with some of these small Greek ports as well. So
good point. All right, so let me get to some of these questions. So Robert was asking, does my Elite Plus status on Celebrity carry over to Azamara for any benefits, since Azamara was part of RCL?
That no longer relates and occurs. We did originally, when we were part of Royal Caribbean's organization, we certainly had that reciprocity between the brands where loyalty programs kind of, especially with Celebrity, as you mentioned, Carlos, at the outset, we were owned and part of Celebrity for a while. Now that we're completely out of the system and moved on, we no longer have that reciprocity. So you can't carry those same benefits over. But we do have a fantastic loyalty program. But whatever status you left with regard to Azamara, as we transitioned over, you would start there as well. So more to come on the loyalty program, because I know that that's a big question, and how do we untether that a little bit? So I don't have the full details on that, but you no longer get that. If I book with Celebrity, I'm gonna with Azamara, and I'm using my Celebrity loyalty number, I'm going to get the same accrual of points. That's no longer applicable.
Yeah, and there used to be a one point throughout the transition that if you made at least one booking with Azamara within a period of time, then it would.
Yeah, but it was by the end of last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then M. Montgomery was asking about Ukraine, which we already talked about throughout the presentation. Already addressed that one. Will the balcony chairs on Onward ever be replaced?
Yes, as things wear out and as they need to be replaced, we certainly look to do that. With so much going on with our brand the last couple of years, we have to sort of prioritize certain things. And I would say that the chairs on the balconies for Onward is probably not as high as some other things, but we certainly are aware of those things. We take that very seriously when we get feedback. We know that, for example, when Onward first rolled out, there was some challenges, but we were also right in the midst of incredible supply chain issues at that time, because it was really sort of as we were coming out of the pandemic, as we kind of get back to some normalcy in life and around the globe, those things loosen up. So some of those things that we've kind of had to put on hold will start to be done and updated. So,
all right. And why should a solo passenger consider Azamara?
I think we're a great fit for solo passengers. And the reason being is that, and you can certainly ask your folks at Luxury Cruise Connections to look for these opportunities, but we do have some rates for solo travelers that are reduced single supplements on some really nice itineraries. It might be 150% or 125%. So you're not paying a full 100% additional for that space on some great itineraries. The other nice thing is our ships are smaller, and we do try to cater and give opportunities for the solo travelers to maybe get to know one another. It's not like it's a solo traveler, like, special dining area or whatever. It's just, hey, we have some solo travelers getting together for a cocktail. Maybe you can meet some people. I've been with solo travelers that I've met on an excursion. They'd say, hey, can I join you for dinner? Absolutely. Sit at our table, because we have our open sea concept and discoveries. I've had great conversations with some of our solo travelers, and they tend to do really well with regard to sailing with us. The other thing I would say is the accommodations are standard accommodations as well. They're not single, designed staterooms for just the solo traveler. So you're going to have plenty of space and all the comforts you would have if you were sailing in any of our staterooms. So,
okay, fair enough. And like Kelly was saying, there are certainly opportunities with low single supplement percentages. So let us know what you're interested in, and we'll be happy to find a couple of sailings for you. Kate was asking, can Kelly or Michael please address the current Azamara website upgrade, especially the extended delays in being able to log on, as well as missing passenger information, etc.?
Yeah, so it's a great question, and we understand it certainly causes some frustration and concern. And Michael, certainly feel free to jump in, because I know you're dealing with this a lot on your end as well. But with regard to that, we migrated so much data from the former Cruising Power platform in Espresso. Over 30-some thousand bookings had to be transitioned over, and all the logins from every agent that was in our system had to be transitioned over. And so it certainly caused some issues in getting folks logged in. The upgrade is going really, really well. Those that have the accessibility to the new booking platform are using it. They're finding it to be fantastic. We're certainly working through a lot of those challenges each and every day. I would say if you're having issues with logging in, you can certainly reach out to Michael and Lori, who's the East Coast sort of key account manager.
Katie's one of our guests, so she was having
Okay.
logging in as a guest, as
a guest. Yeah. So right now, that's a great question too. Sorry about that, Kate. So yeah, that the upgrade is such that we're really able to do, we kind of shut off the online booking check-in and that sort of thing, as we really service the most pressing departure dates in the next 30 days. So we're kind of asking those guests that are going in the next month or so to be prepared if they hadn't already logged in and checked in, to do so at the pier. And it will continue to provide more and more information as we kind of pull all that information over. For example, shore excursions and those sorts of things. That's a long array of information and data that needs to be pulled in. So we kind of put the highlight stuff in there, and that keeps continuing to come over and evolve. So, it's certainly a challenge, but as we continue to move forward in the next week or so, that will become easier and easier. And each and every day, Michael and I are getting new information, and we'll share as much as we can when we get it as well. So Michael, did you have anything you want to add to that, or?
Okay, and will the Azamara Choice Air website allow online searches as it did previously?
I don't know about like a consumer facing website for air. It will generally be done through our partners and their assistance. It will be accessible through our online booking platform, and being able to see and utilize the air that's available through our new partnership. It's called GMT. They do a lot of our air for our teams. And so they're going to be handling and managing our air for guests as well. So you'll still have the same flexibility to pick and choose from different, different airlines and certainly class of service, and those sorts of things will ensure that you get to the ship, that sort of thing. So it's something that is available for those that are advisors. It's available on the Connect page. You can see sort of the information there as well, but it's not going to be where there's a Choice Air website that's, that a guest can actually look at air. As far as I know, that may change, but as of right now, that's where we're at.
Okay. Alan, in any case, we can certainly help you find what you're looking for in terms of air as well. So let us know if there's anything that we can help with. And then Pam, one of our dear guests from a long time, was asking Steve, that was one of my questions on the list, wondering if World Cruise 24 has changed itinerary. Will we get info on excursions soon? Also wondering about visa inoculations. And what about accessible excursions being offered?
All very good questions. I would say I have not heard any news at all about any change to the itinerary. Excursions, as we get a little bit closer, since this isn't departing until 2024, is certainly going to become more and more available. Again, as we moved all that data over, it's hard to know exactly when that will be. I think, this is a great question to maybe we'll take to our land team to see if we can get some more insight as to when those will be available. Same with inoculations and visas as well. But I would say with regard to inoculations and visas, it's also the State Department provides the same information that we utilize for that information as well. So if you want to start to look at some of that on the State Department's website, you can get an idea there as well until we're able to fully update that. But as we kind of get settled, a lot of this information will become more and more available through our call center as well. And I would mention too, with this transition, as challenging as it's been, we've also stood up a brand new call center in terms of actually being in an actual space and building, which everyone was doing everything virtually for so long. So in the midst of all this transition, we were putting together getting our team up and running in a new facility as well. So there's been a lot going on at Azamara the last few weeks for sure.
Interesting.
Accessible excursions, that's it's a tough one because there's certainly not the same requirements around the globe that we have here with ADA and other things. So I think it would be a matter of looking at excursions, seeing the level of activity, what's required. And then if you have specific needs, we would need to take that to our land team and ask them specifically if there's things that we can do to accommodate for certain things in certain areas. So again, those are great questions. Pam, I would just say, give us a little bit of time and we'll take that your question and we'll write it down and we'll kind of get it to the right people to try to find out more specifics for you.
Perfect. And what about the 2024 World Cruise? Has it changed at all?
I don't think it has changed at all. I've not heard anything at all about itinerary change for 2024. So if someone has, I would be happy to look more into it, but we have not been privy to any changes. We've not been told that it has changed.
Kelly and Michael, if you're going to be checking about the excursions for this, please let me know. This is Steve Golko, because those are my guests, and this way I'll relay the information once they're available. Thank you.
Not a problem. We'll do, Steve. And for everyone here, I have a very good relationship with Carlos and his entire team over at Luxury Cruise Connection. So any information that we get here, I communicate, and we're constantly in communication with his team. So we'll definitely keep that team abreast of all information that we get as it relates to anything for World Cruise 2024, 2025, anything as it relates to shore tours. We'll definitely communicate all that information to Carlos and his team, and he'll be able to have all the information for you once we get it.
Yeah, we'll shoot over some of these questions via email to you guys, so when we get the answers, we can communicate back to our guests. Thank you. Susan was asking, will we be able to upgrade beverage package online pre-cruise at some time when the new website is finished?
That is our understanding. And again, Michael may have a different bit of information, but as far as we know, we will be able to do some of those onboard packages pre-cruise and in advance. Before the transition, we were starting to be able to do some of that online. And so I'm sure we'll be able to get to a point with our new system, which is, we used to joke that we were coming out of the 1920s into our new system, because the old systems at Royal, they're a bit challenging and there's a lot of layers to them. So we were sort of at their mercy as well. But yeah, I think in our new website, we should be able to do some of those pre-cruise things online in advance as well.
And if that's available for guests to do online, it should also be available for us as your advisors, your travel agency.
Yeah.
Be able to do that on our back-end booking portal that we have with Azamara. So Susan will be happy to help with that as well. Just let us know what you want to do, and our concierge team will be happy to get on that for you as well. And then Bruce Shepard also commenting on the uncomfortable balcony chairs. I travel on the Onward. I didn't notice the chair. I guess I wasn't outside enough. But yeah, second comment on it.
Yeah, it's a hot topic. So we'll definitely take that back to the powers that be, and like, hey, first things first, we got to get some balcony chairs on the Onward. It's ridiculous.
No, I'm serious. So, all right, cool. So point taken. Feedback will go to the right people. And Carol is asking, if your package doesn't include a particular liquor, can you bring it on board, and and how does that corkage fee work?
Yeah, so you can definitely bring things on board. I don't know that there's a limit. If there is, we would have to find that out. But for example, I've been on where we've gone out. I did a voyage where we did a couple of excursions with a wine group, and we went to different wineries and so forth. And then we had very nice bottles waiting for us in our staterooms from the head of the group that put it all together as a thank you for joining them on that group. So we definitely were able to enjoy that. In the stateroom, obviously, it's your discretion if you want to have it at dinners and other things. There is a small corkage fee. It's about $15, I think, per bottle for corkage. If you want to enjoy that at dinner or what have you.
And what about liquor, like scotch or vodka or whatever?
Yeah, you can certainly bring it on board. I don't know. It might be the same applicable corkage fee for that. I haven't really had people ask specifically too much, surprisingly, about liquor, mostly wine in regard to the bringing on board and corkage fee.
And Bruce was asking another question. When can we expect excursions for 24 World Cruise? And then he commented
hopefully soon. Yeah, hopefully we'll start to see those soon. We'll take that to our land team and we'll ask when we can kind of expect to see available excursions on that, and we'll make sure to get that to you.
Yeah, Bruce, and then we'll get back to you on that with that answer as well. And then was commenting on how great the Wi-Fi was on the Onward, so that's good.
Yeah, it's definitely improved. I've heard this is not the first I've heard of that, so it's good to hear, because there are times when it's tough to do much on our Wi-Fi. So
good. Carol was asking, what do you mean by craft cocktails that are not included? So Carol, do you remember the picture what we showed, the Atlas bar, which is that beautiful green looking bar at the end, what we were talking about, this very special, unique cocktails, that those are the craft cocktails that we're talking about. Examples of it are, I don't know.
a prickly pear martini, something of that nature. Like it's something that you normally probably wouldn't find in your standard run-of-the-mill bar. So it's really those specialty crafted cocktails that might have a unique flavor. And I can tell you, when I was recently on the Onward, they have, if I can remember, it's almost like a spicy old-fashioned. So it's not your regular old fashioned, it has a little something different to it. So it's going to make that a bit of a craft cocktail.
yeah, so and also speaking of old fashions, which I love old fashions, smoked old fashions as well, things like that, where they will put it in the little smoker and there's the wood chips, and they'll kind of ignite that and let that sort of that wood kind of smoky flavor settle into the cocktail as well. So there's a lot that goes into these. So they're really unique and special and different, much different than your run-of-the-mill cocktail.
Yeah.
So
Funny, Michael, whenever we started talking about alcohol, you chimed in again, huh?
I didn't want to say anything, Carlos, but I was thinking, I was like, wow, it's getting late in the day for Michael. It's for you all on the East Coast. So it's still 1 o'clock for me.
All right, cool. And do any of the ports include transportation to city that are not near the ports?
So that has been evolving, and it has changed a little bit. So we need to go back and get the most up-to-date, accurate information. So for a while, we absolutely did include complimentary shuttle service to port cities center. So for example, if we were docked in Lisbon, which is a great docking location, you're at the base of the Alfama in the old quarter, it's right up the hill, but you're a ways from, Bellum Tower or what have you. There was a shuttle that would go to a certain location and just kind of run throughout the day. So we need to reconfirm that, because I believe that was actually taken out. But from, say, complimentary from, say, Civitavecchia to Rome, or where we're docking in Fusina or Chioggia to go into Venice proper, that's not included, because it's a much longer drive. So,
All right.
but yep. But we do offer transportation for purchase for those longer transfers if needed, and especially with air, if you're doing the air through us as well, you can certainly accommodate the transfers as well.
Okay. And Bruce commenting on the cocktails. Bruce, I'm gonna get with you in a minute. I'm gonna want to hear your live review on Azamara Onward very soon. So I'm gonna get back with you soon. But thank you for that. Says craft cocktails, specialty cocktails made to perfection. And then Linda was asking if you're ever gonna go back to Cuba. That was my favorite cruise ever, she says.
Yeah, I've actually had the good fortune to visit Cuba twice in my travel career. Once with my former company on land, and once with Azamara by cruise. And I would agree, it is a spectacular destination. Obviously, a lot goes around traveling to Cuba, and everyone has different feelings. But if you go into it with a traveler's mind to really sort of learn about the destination, I found it to be fascinating and really enjoyable. So if we ever get the opportunity, if travel opens back up for U.S. travelers to Cuba, I'm sure we would certainly consider it. We do some Caribbean sailings, and that was a big part of what we did in the Caribbean. I would say if it ever opens back up and we're able to, we would certainly revisit going back there, because it really was very successful.
Very nice. And then Anna was commenting on Asia as a few cruises. I'm not sure, Anna, if that was a question, but if it was, can you please let me know, and I'll happy to go back to it. And then M. Montgomery was asking, in Venice, how do you recommend traveling from the old city to the Azamara port? Also, are there any pre-voyage hotel packages in Venice or post-voyage hotel packages in Istanbul?
So with regard to Venice, if you're not familiar, the local Venetian port authorities and government disallow ships of our size and bigger we're no longer able to dock where we used to be able to dock. We used to be able to port right in San Basilio. It was a stone's throw from St. Mark's Square. It was a perfect location. We were able to go on the Grand Canal, but they're trying to eliminate a lot of that. So we had to move. And so last year we actually were forced further out and we were down in Ravenna, which is about a 2-hour drive. It's a great port stop, but it's not really the best port to access Venice. So this year we're staying in 2 different ports depending on the itinerary. One is Fusina. It's maybe 25 minutes or so to Venice proper. And then the other is Chioggia, which is about 45 minutes from Venice proper, but it's referred to as Little Venice. It is a beautiful stop. It looks very much like Venice. It has canals, it has great shops, restaurants, bars, things like that along the waterfront. So it's a great location in and of itself. But with that said, we would, if you're looking to do pre or post, we usually do, and I would have to go through and take a look at an itinerary because they're now starting to repopulate. We do definitely do pre and post programs in both Venice and in Istanbul. And that would include some transportation as well. If you're looking to do something on your own, and then you can look to purchase a transfer, but it would have to be through our partners at Alaski Brothers or another local operator, because unfortunately, we're not able to offer transfers in every city. So it really depends on your itinerary, what you're wanting to do. But we would work with you with the help of everyone at Luxury Cruise Connections, of course, to kind of put together what's best for what you're trying to do and what you want to do.
Yeah, and that's where we come in, right, and fill the holes wherever we can. We do this a lot. We obviously love to rely a lot on the pre and post that the cruise lines have, but sometimes our clients want to do something a little bit different, and that's the beauty of also doing business with us. We're able to customize those pre and post for you as well. Being a luxury cruise agency, we specialize in just catering to our clients in very specific ways. And obviously we have an incredible concierge team that works with all of our clients behind the scenes. Well, not even behind the scenes, but kind of post booking on putting together these pre and post experiences and transfers and flights and all that stuff. So when you're working with Luxury Cruise Connections, you can count on us to help you through all of this, right? And we'll use a cruise line, whenever that's the best option, but we can also get creative and customize things for you guys.
Yeah, especially with all your relationships through Virtuoso, there's so much at your fingertips working with the folks at Luxury Cruise Connections. Exactly. With us and your partnerships, you'll be incredibly well taken care of, no matter how it works out to make it the best vacation for you. So,
and we do have hotel partners and transfer partners at every single city in the world, literally. So we got you covered. Anna commenting on how wonderful the no casinos is, because there's no noise, so that's good. Nancy is asking, we're on the Pursuit Ancient Civilization voyages starting October 23rd. What is the status of going to Israel? We're planning on staying overnight in Jerusalem and not returning to the ship. Is that a problem?
So great questions. I'm actually sailing on an Israel intensive in a couple of weeks. I'm very excited. So right now, as far as just status in general for Israel, really nothing new other than just sort of heightened awareness. Basically, if you're looking at it from a safety perspective, it's still very safe to go to Israel. So with staying off of the ship, we can certainly help accommodate that. On my voyage, we were trying to pull something together where we would have been off the ship for a couple of nights, but it just didn't quite work out. So we would have definitely been able to do that. So you would be able to do the same. So you just want to work with the ship, let us know what date and so forth, so we can advise the ship that you won't be returning. I would then recommend, once you're there, to reconfirm that with the ship. But then just know exactly where you need to be to return to the ship and at what time, so you don't don't miss it. But it's staying off the ship for during overnights is not a problem. We just need to let the ship know.
Great. And Nancy, I'm going to be in Israel actually next month. So if you have any questions or anything that you want me to look out for you, let me know. How many ports will have golf on the Scotland trip?
So I would have to pull up the Scotland voyage itself to see exactly how many, but typically if you look at, it's 4 to 5 depending on the number of days of the itinerary. So basically a good rule of thumb, if you're looking at a golf program, whether it be Scotland or anywhere, if you take the number of days that the itinerary is and cut that in half, that's about the number of rounds of golf that you'll play. So if it's a 10-night voyage, you'll have 5 days of golf and so forth. In each itinerary is unique and different. It kind of depends. I will also mention too, for the golfers, that every July we put together a package around a voyage in Great Britain to accommodate for the Open Championship as well. So those that do the golf package during that time, you'll play, 4, 5 or 6 rounds, maybe depending on the length of the itinerary. You'll have final round admission to the championship included in that package as well. So it's pretty incredible opportunity. I would also say that it's very, very popular. So you'll want to book that one a little bit further out as well. I will also say that we are not accommodating the old course during our Scotland voyages as well. So if you're wanting to do something like that, where you play the old course, there's a variety of ways to do it. Just not going to be part of our packages, because unfortunately the old course will not guarantee unless you pay additional. I think if you're doing a land program in Scotland, you wanted to guarantee a tee time at the old course, you have to pay an additional $1,200, something like that. So so we just can't ensure that we can accommodate everybody at the old course, so it's not part of that particular itinerary.
Okay, good. Is Larry was asking, is transportation provided from docking in Southampton to London at the end of a Scandinavian cruise?
So it depends on how you're wanting to do London. If you're going back for just a flight, you can certainly purchase a transfer. If you're doing a post-London package, that transportation would be part of the package as well. But either way, it would be a purchase for transfer from Southampton to London.
So just to clarify this, Azamara obviously does not offer airfare included. So when you're purchasing airfare with Azamara, you can purchase your transfers as well.
Correct.
With the flight. Guys, I do want to go back real quick to when we're talking about the offer and the onboard credit, the up to $500 onboard credit for attending the event. I do want to make sure I reiterate the fact that this is specifically an offer that Azamara puts together for us to incentivize new bookings, right? So it's only applicable for new bookings after today. It is not applicable for existing bookings, because the idea of this this online event offers are to incentivize new bookings. That's what Azamara wants, obviously, to get you guys excited about a new cruise. And so it has to be applied only on new bookings. The virtual, so onboard credit and all that stuff that you probably, if you already booked with us, you probably already got, that doesn't have to be on new bookings, but the event up to $500 sugar credit is only applicable on new bookings. I just want to make sure I clarify that. Al is asking, what is down payment and full payment requirements for a fall cruise to Croatia at this point?
Yeah, so the deposits are anything in verandas and lower would be a $550 per person deposit. And then in the suites, it's an $1,100 per person deposit for the
final payment is usually
120 days prior to prior to sailing. So if you cancel prior to final payment deadline, which again is 120 days before the date of departure, you're looking at a $75 per person penalty. After that, that's when a more applicable cancellation penalties start to accrue.
okay. And Nancy, seems like there's no credits or discounts for single sailors in the interstate rooms, even though the singleton pays fully.
It depends, Nancy, on the itinerary, because not all sailings will have a single supplement special. So we would, and as we transition, I don't know if we have the most up-to-date solo rates available just yet, but we can provide through, and you can, Carlos, you and your team can pull them from Azamara Connect, those sailings that are on special for solo travelers.
Nancy, we'll have somebody from our team reach out to you and share with you some of these single offers, okay? And Angela's asking, how do you find virtuoso hosted sailings? So again, Angela, and for everybody, just a quick recap, virtuoso hosted sailings are those particular dates and itineraries where, due to this partnership with Virtuoso, we're able to offer our clients a very exclusive shore excursion or an onboard credit, an additional onboard credit in lieu of, and a private cocktail event, and there's a host on board, also somebody from the Virtuoso network that is on board to basically be there for you for whatever else you need. So it's like an enhanced experience. Angela, we can absolutely help you find what you're looking for. We have the list, so we're gonna have somebody from our team reach out to you and help you find a sailing where you can take advantage of the existing public offer, the event offer, and Virtuoso hosted sailing offer, and whatever else we can do for you as well, okay? Natalie Kupchik from our office is assigned to your account, so she'll be reaching out to you with more information. And Barbara is asking, does an inside cabin get any perks such as onboard credit? Not for the event offer. So if you're referring to the onboard credit offer that we have for today, it's ocean view, balcony, or suite. So inside staterooms don't get that onboard credit, but Barbara, if that is what you want and that's what you're looking for, I am sure we can find an agency promotion or something that we can apply to your inside cabin if that's what you're looking for, and we can get you some nice onboard credit as well. Okay.
Yeah, and the standard promotion too, Barbara, will be applicable. So the offer that's the promo for the for everybody, that $500 onboard credit will be applicable for your inside stateroom, but the
would be
special is not, that we're doing just for luxury cruise connections.
Right. So the $500 is the exclusive event offer, wouldn't, but then LCC has some agency promos that we may be able to add on to that. And Richard, we have an Azamara cruise on April 29th to 23. Is it better to reserve a future cruise on board?
Absolutely. Yep. And what's great about booking on board is you'll get a reduced deposit, a bit of savings, and some other extras, and you can take advantage of whatever the current promotion is. And the best thing is that booking will automatically go back to your advisor at Luxury Cruise Connections to be able to handle that and help you with that going forward after making that booking on board. So it really is really a good time to book for everybody involved, actually.
Yeah, and Richard, there's always an opportunity. So we always like to recommend our guests to book on board, take advantage of it. And at the end of the day, once you get back, we'll always, take what you have and compare with any additional or any other promotions that might be applicable to that particular sailing. For example, let's say you booked something on board and the onboard representative wouldn't know if that's a Virtuoso sailing, because again, that's exclusive to Luxury Cruise Connections. When you get back, we can say, hey, you know what, we actually booked a Virtuoso sailing. Here's additional onboard credit for you that would go on top and combinable with whatever you booked on board. So it's always it's definitely never not a good thing. Those onboard discounts wouldn't be combinable with offers like the ones that we have, but like what we're talking about, like the exclusive event offers that we're talking about. But so there are some limitations, but it's always a good idea to book it on board for sure. If you already booked for this year, can you still get onboard credit for today? Alyssa, I'm sorry. We'll connect with you for sure. We'll follow up with you after the event, and we'll see what we can do for you. I'm sure we'll figure something out. But yes, this particular offer Azamara creates for us specifically for, to create new bookings. So but we'll connect with you. And what is the average age on board an Azamara voyage?
So the average age, it would be probably early 60s on average, but it is skewing a little bit younger, and it also skews a little bit younger depending on the type of voyage. If it's a very port intensive Europe, for example, we have a few younger folks, but it's really much more for, we like to say, the mature traveler, the explore, the sort of young at heart with an explorer mindset is a great way to kind of describe it. So it's not really, if you're looking at multi-gen and a lot of kids and things like that, you're certainly not going to have that on board Azamara.
Cool. And Rick is asking us if will Azamara assist with getting visas?
Yeah. So for example, in certain parts of the world, and we're trying to get more clarity on some destinations, but where possible, the onboard team definitely helps with visas on board depending on the destination. So Richard, I would reach out to the folks at Luxury Cruise Connections and kind of provide exactly your itinerary and so forth, and then we can work together to provide you the most up-to-date information.
Carol is asking, would liquor corkage fee at bar apply to each drink? I'm sure Michael has the answer to that one. Just kidding.
Yeah, what do you got, Michael? Tell us.
The only thing I could say is pop the cork. That's about as much as I could say.
Yeah. Whether you pay for it or not, just get that cork out of there.
No, but it's
so,
per bottle. It's per bottle, right?
Yeah, it's per bottle. So if it's our obviously if it's our liquor, certainly there's no corkage fee at the bar. But if it's your own bottle, it would be per bottle, not per drink.
Okay. And Nancy, yes, if you're still with us, we will send a copy of this event recording to all of you guys within the next 24 hours. So yes, you can share it with your friends, family, anybody that you feel might be interested in learning more about Azamara and Luxury Cruise Connections. And yes, anybody that watches it will be eligible to receive the onboard credit promotion that we have as long as we book within the next 2 weeks. Okay. Carol, craft cocktails included on the upgraded beverage package on the highest level of beverage package, right? The $23.
Yep. The ultimate beverage package. Yep.
Candy is asking, I heard that Cub was
Cuba.
Oh, Cuba.
Yeah.
Was open again for US people, not for cruisers.
It's not necessarily available for cruisers, because if it were, we would certainly take an opportunity to look at that. I think they are still doing certain licensed people-to-people experiences that weren't always applicable to the cruise lines. So once the last administration took that off the table, it was really difficult. We weren't able to really do anything with that. I think there are some companies, land companies for the most part, that are still able to do those licensed people-to-people tours, or they had to fall under certain categories and they had to file, their application to gain that license to be able to do that. But right now, there's no cruise ships that are able to, from the US, cruise into Cuba.
And Bruce is asking, any plans to add another ship to the fleet?
Absolutely. I just don't know when and how that will look. Our plan is to certainly grow. I don't have any exciting news to share on that front. I can't provide any groundbreaking info here, but it is certainly on the horizon. We definitely understand that as we grow, we'll want to add to the fleet. Our hope certainly would be for new builds and new opportunities that way. But until that kind of comes to fruition, I don't know specifically how that looks, but definitely in the thought process of our brand and as we grow. So that's a huge part of why being privately owned and being the only part of that corporation that is cruise is huge for us. As you mentioned, Carlos, earlier, we were very successful within Royal Caribbean. We were financially very viable, but it's such a small portion of such a huge organization that they had to focus elsewhere, and adding additional ships was not their top priority for us, which made sense. It's not a knock on Royal Caribbean by any means. Fantastic corporation. It was just the circumstances and what, was at hand. So being privately owned now on our own, certainly the plans is to grow. So
Bruce, so I don't work for Azamara, so I can say this. There will be some new ships coming.
My earphones went out there, Carlos. So I very sick.
Obviously, look, I can say this because nobody has officially said this to me, and even though I have NDA signed, nobody has officially said this to me. But look, it is obvious, Bruce. I can tell you from many conversations that I've had with the Azamara organization and the amount of money that is being put in, and the vision for the brand and where they want to take this company to. They of course wouldn't be able to do it with any new ships to the fleet. So they have the money, they have the will, and it's just a matter of when. So expect some news on it very, very soon. I mean, not
Michael.
very soon. I actually don't know, but I'm sure.
Michael and Kelly, one of my guests who's on the World Cruise is asking if there's a way to get a list of the virtuoso hosted sailings. Do you guys have a list of that you could get to me that I can forward to them?
Yes, I can send that to you. I can send you what we have.
Okay, that would be great.
No problem.
Okay, Susan, I'm going to get that to you.
And Ron commenting, Carlos, just FYI, one of the best presentations. Oh, thank you so much. Extremely informative. You, Kelly, Michael, have done a very good job in the presentation. Q&A, really like everything about the Azamara brand. Awesome. Thank you, Ron. Appreciate the love. Thank you so much. I know you do business with Steve. I know that he takes really good care of you. So thank you for your business and loyalty. Truly appreciate it. And am asking us about, I'm already booked on Venice to Istanbul voyage, October 23. I'm eligible for the onboard credit for attending the Zoom meeting. I'm sorry, like we said, that offer for the event is specifically to create new bookings. So it's applicable on new bookings only. But that said, we're just that agency that love to make everybody happy. So we'll figure something out for you. We'll get a hold of you personally and see what we can do and what we can specifically do for you. But this particular offer that we talked about today, the extra for the 2 weeks only, it's only applicable in new bookings. So hopefully if you already booked, you might want to book something else soon before prices go up for 24. Maybe we can get you.
And I would also add too, generally speaking, if you are to want to, for whatever reason, cancel and rebook to get a few extra dollars in onboard credit, you wouldn't hold the same rate you booked at originally. And so it's always best to kind of stay with the deal that you had when you booked, because that's generally the best time to book is when you did.
Book as early as possible.
Yeah. So like Carlos said, I'm sure they'll do everything they can to help with that. And we certainly appreciate you joining us today. And I wanted to also mention to Ron, thank you for the feedback. That means a lot. I always appreciate hearing positive feedback. Even if it was not positive, I'd still like to hear it. So just not maybe in this public forum. But no, it's one of those things where I think it's best to kind of keep the booking that you have, because it's not always, the grass isn't always greener, but if there's a way that they can help, or we can maybe help them help you, we'll look at it. But as Carlos mentioned, that onboard credit is really for new bookings for the next 2 weeks.
Hey, Carlos, just to add for the person who asked a question about that they already have a reservation, don't forget, if it's eligible and if it's transferred to us, they may not get the onboard credit from this webinar, but we can still give them a better value with adding some onboard credit.
That is true though. What is the transfer policy with Azamara?
As far as transferring the booking from
Azamara to agency?
I'm sorry, say it again.
From Azamara to the agency.
I think it's 60 days, isn't it?
Yeah, so if you book something direct and then you want to transfer it over, we can certainly help with that. There's an online form that needs to be filled out, and we can provide that for you. And just stating that you want Luxury Cruise Connections to take over the booking. It's generally within 60 days, but everything's sort of been so crazy lately. If it's outside of that, I'm sure we can accommodate. If it's, from a year or two ago, might be a little bit more challenging, but.
Good to know. That's good. I mean, obviously we're here to create relationships and meet new people and grow, obviously, our base of guests that we love to take care of. So yeah, absolutely. That's also an opportunity, and there's always agency promotions that we can add. So happy for that opportunity as well if anybody's interested. And then Diane is asking, can we get a list of solo discounts? Diane, I don't think there's a document per se that we can send, but I'll make sure to have somebody from our team reach out to you, and we can definitely access the list through our back end system with Azamara, and we can find what you're looking for. Just let us know kind of the date range of what you're looking for and destination of what you're looking for, and I'm sure we'll find something or as close to it as possible. Wow, I mean, it's been a great event, great conversation, lots of questions, lots of interaction. Bruce, you still with us? Before we let everybody go, I do want to take 2 minutes of your time, if you can share with us about your Azamara onward experience.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Oh, you want to do it now? Or is it
Yes.
late? Okay.
Yes.
Well, we've got about 500 days of cruising on Holland America. And so all of a sudden we decided that we were getting a little bored. And so we went to Azamara, we went down to the Caribbean, and we enjoyed that 11 days so much that we went out and we booked the 155 days of the World Cruise. And it's just been, it fits us. My days of wall climbing and belly flop contest are over with. And, but we love to travel. We both spent 26 years each in the Air Force. So we've literally been every continent all over the world and stuff. And Azamara just fits it for us. We've had a continental suite, and we just went down to Miami and went on and we booked the onward in the continental suite that we are going to do the World Cruise. And the whole purpose of it, can I stay in here for 155 days? And 12 days later, coming back, we just said, yep, no, we're still going. And just need to fix those chairs. The people on the roll call are starting to think about bringing their own chairs.
But aside from the chairs, you like the ship, you like the people.
Oh yeah, I mean the crew, the interaction with the officers. I mean the food. Got to go into that.
I think, Bruce, what they want to hear is what your thoughts were on with the new bar, because that's
the new bar. I mean, that turned into standing room only quite a few nights. I think if you're going to put it into the other ships, maybe extend the bar a little bit, because the bar is kind of a magnet, because it's not just the drinks, it's the bartender and the assistant bartender are just fantastic hosts when you're in there, and they're kind of a show. It's a show in a sense, but I think that we went through just about everything on the list, and they've got cocktails there that they smoke, and with the bourbon, and you get your flavor smoke, and they didn't have any weed or anything. They had oak and hickory or stuff, and it was very popular. And I like, one thing I really enjoy about Azamara is the talent of the cruise directors, assistant, and the dancers and the performers. The band, it's an orchestra to a degree. I mean, very small, but they're just talented musicians, and we've really enjoyed that. So,
Thank
great
you.
experience.
Thank you. Thank you very much for.
Are you? Oh, I got a quick question.
Yeah, of course.
We're booked on the World Cruise. The night before, for those that are booked for the whole World Cruise, there's a reception. What can we expect?
That is a very good question. It's going to just be a nice sort of get together to kick off the world voyage. I don't know the full details yet, and honestly, I don't want to give. If I did, I probably wouldn't say much because I wouldn't want to give it away because it's going to
But
be
just tell
a fantastic event.
Carlos will tell us.
Yeah, Carlos will tell you exactly. Yeah, because it's a great introduction to the World Cruise. It's a great way to kick it off and thank everybody for their participation. And I wanted to say to you, and just sort of in general, you brought up a good point that it just fits, and it's hard to describe until you experience Azamara. But when you do, it really does for a lot of people just fit. It's just a great ambiance. The service, as you mentioned, you're out mingling with the captains, the crew, they're engaging, they're excited for you to be experiencing what you're experiencing. They share in that enthusiasm. It's just kind of a different feel on board. So we really appreciate your insights, Bruce. I'm sorry I don't have more to share with you in regards to that reception.
Okay.
But I know this for a fact, there will not be a corkage fee during that reception. So you'll be good.
And we should expect that. When would we expect to know where we're going to stay and stuff?
Bruce, I'm sure that Kelly and Michael will let us know, and I'll pass it on to you.
All right.
Yeah, as soon as we got all that information, we'll definitely let you know for sure.
Bruce, thank you so much.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you for coming on and sharing your experience with us.
All right.
And I wanna use that as a great opportunity to just thank everybody for being here with us today. And truly an honor. Just spending this last hour and so with you guys, sharing about Azamara and the experiences and the future of the company. And it's been fun, it's been educational, it's been everything that we could hope for one of these events. And it's a great opportunity to reconnect with many of you loyal guests of Luxury Cruise Connections that come to our events online and hear from us and want to learn from us. And it's a great opportunity for us to interact with you all. And for those that are here for the first time, or that is the first time attending one of these events, or first time even learning about us, we want to welcome you to the family of Luxury Cruise Connections, and hopefully give us an opportunity to take care of your future cruises as well. That's what we do. We love to create amazing experiences, and we like that, to establish this personal relationships with you, because we believe that when you're traveling, that is your most valuable asset, and we want to take good care of it for you, or help you maximize it as well. So thank you all for coming and being here with us today. Thank you, Kelly and Michael, for your time. I know we went past our slot of time, but it got very interesting, and the questions were, it was very interactive and very dynamic. So thank you for being flexible with your time and sharing it with us. And I look forward to the next opportunity of giving our guests and audience another update on Azamara very soon. And hopefully I'll see you guys soon, Michael. And
yes, definitely. Thank you for having us. I want to say welcome to all of the new people who are here. Hopefully we'll see you on a future Azamara cruise very soon. And to our guests who are booked and ready to go on the next cruise, I'm going to say welcome home.
there you go.
Very well put. And I would say, first of all, Carlos, thanks for the opportunity to be a part of this. And also you mentioned flexibility with our time and spending a bit more time talking. We're in sales. That's what we do. We like talking. So the opportunity to talk about our brand and share our enthusiasm for it, hopefully was evident to you all that were kind enough to join us today. It's a unique experience. And as Michael so eloquently put it, for those that haven't sailed with us, we can't wait to invite you on board soon. And those that have, we want to welcome you home to Azamara. We look forward to having you back. So thanks, everybody.
And if anybody has any additional questions, you can reply to the invitation. You can reply to any of our emails. We'll, of course, get them and make sure that somebody within our team gets back to you soon with answers and help you plan your next amazing Azamara cruise. So with that, and Susan and Bruce, thank you for your loyalty. Thank you for your comments. We love you guys, and we look forward to many more cruises. And with that, everybody,
and also Ron
and every, like, look, there's a lot of our guests here. Nancy,
everybody.
Cheryl and Rick and wow, there's way too many names for me to even go through all of them. But you know, all of you that you know, constantly give us the opportunity to take care of you. Thank you very much for being here and continuing to trusting us on your future cruises. So thank you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye, everybody.
Thank you, Kelly.